Looks like we had a little bit of a delay on our YouTube, so making sure that we're live on everything here. All right, so let's go ahead and get to everything with regards to the forecast, or not the forecast, but rather the what you came here for. You know, all the weather fun. Let's go ahead and bring that up. Now, I know this is a little overloading, to say the least, but the reason why I want to bring up this information here is because this is kind of what has been my day for the number of weeks leading up. Imagine trying to get all of this data, okay? These are La Nina and El Nino weather patterns over the last over 70 years here. So, looking at all that, uh, kind of was overwhelming to begin to say the least. But I got it figured out, and that's the great thing. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few things that are coming up as far as snow. And I'm covering a lot of areas, so I'm not just going to talk specifically about South Dakota right now, but we will get to that because that's the main part of this event. But we'll stick around and make sure you stick around for that. So we do have November 16th through the 22nd. Climate Prediction Center does have a slight risk of another crazy amount of snow, heavy snow, basically the 16th through the 19th. Let's go ahead and take a look at our radar omega real quick so that we can kind of see how that's going to play out here. Let me go ahead and shut this one off for a moment so that you don't get too bombarded with that. Let's take a look at the European model, and these are going to show where our highs and our lows are based on the dips in here. And if I can do that real quick, for example, this here is definitely a low pressure. This one out here is a low pressure, and that's kind of what we got to watch out for. Uh, there's a remnants of a low pressure, very weak low pressure right here. But for the most part, dominating high pressure ridge is coming through right here, and that's going to dry us out for a little bit. If we put this into motion, you'll be able to see for the most part today, really dry. There's that peak in South Dakota. You see that black area there. That is certainly dominating high pressure there. And then we have that low pressure moving on over for the 12th, but really isn't it gets closed off here. Let me go ahead and get this on. It gets closed off here in this Colorado section, and then really nothing makes way of it. And if we put this farther into motion here, we'll be able to take a look. Again, a Colorado low, if you will, right here. You can see this is getting cut off up here, so this is why not really much of any moisture happening for our area. But boy, oh boy, they are expecting significant snowfall again in Colorado. And we'll take a look at that a little bit further, what happened with this last snowstorm that they had. There's some more remnants of it. Even down into New Mexico, they could end up seeing some major precipitation there as well. That's how that's going. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few other things here. We'll go back to our graphics. What's really going on here? I've got so many different things, but what I kind of wanted to show you is La Nina. That's what we really got going on. It's a very weak La Nina at this point for areas of South Dakota, but I also had to look at some of this information from the climate.gov website. All La Nina winters, if we go through that, it really didn't show too bad, but weak La Nina winters. Now that was interesting because if you could look there how it changes, um, difference from average snowfall, the weaker La Ninas ended up giving areas of like southwestern Minnesota some greater than average snowfalls, whereas all La Nina winters um, was less than average. And the reason why I point this out is because that had to go into my forecast as well to try to figure out, okay, so what are we going to end up having? Are we going to have more snow than average? Are we going to have less snow than average? What is it? And then all La Nina winters and weak La Nina winters with regards to um, the number of years here, we have weak La Nina winters, 9 number of years out of 9. So really was not that heavy. Again, not that heavy there. Average patterns of all La Ninas, again, not too bad. Number of years with that pattern wasn't a whole lot. Average patterns with a weak La Nina typically ends up showing greater than average in some cases. Number of years with that same pattern, not a whole lot. So that's a lot to go through. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 6 to 10 day outlook for the, you know, November 15th through the 19th. We do show above average temperatures expected for much of the plains as well as the Midwest. And then if we take a look at the precip chances, again, Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, much above normal for those areas, November 15th through 19th. If we take a quick peek further out, we got the temperatures 8 to 14 days, 17th through the 23rd. Again, above normal temperatures. Seeing a theme here. And then we do have expected uh, precip chances that are above normal for the 17th through the 23rd. And how is that going to fall? Is it going to be rain? Is it going to be snow? We'll have to take a quick peek and see what we can find. Let's go ahead and shut those off since we're done with those. And I did want to point out this as well. This is through the Winter Prediction Center, or Weather Prediction Center, rather. They do have a prototype here that kind of shows overall time frame of some reports. So there was some flooding in Kentucky. Definitely interesting to see this prototype. I just kind of wanted to show you all that. There's so many different things that are out there that we can utilize. Um, Another thing that I wanted to kind of show you is a current surface temperature anomaly, sea surface. And the reason why I point this out is, let's go ahead and bring up our La Nina weather pattern stuff and El Nino before we dive in too deep. So El Nino, we typically end up seeing warmer air over in the Pacific Northwest and wet, cool air into the southern tip of the United States. So La Nina, what that brings is wet, cool. Whoops. Let's go back to that. Don't want to change that much. There we go. So a La Nina weather pattern ends up showing dry and warm air in basically the southern half of the United States. But what happens is the Eastern Pacific Ocean ends up cooler than normal, and so that ends up bringing us a La Nina weather pattern. And that's what we're going into. We're going into a weak La Nina weather pattern. Let me go ahead and take a look and see if there's any folks chatting here Apologize. Not yet. So I appreciate y'all. Go ahead and make sure if you're on our YouTube channel, go ahead. I can see live chats, so you can certainly chat away as well as have any questions that you might have. I can certainly answer those at the end of the broadcast. And how you find us is just doing a search for 605 Chaser on YouTube, and that'll get you there. So that's a La Nina weather pattern. So now I can bring up this sea surface temperature anomaly. As you can see, um, um the colder air is showing on the Pacific, Eastern Pacific there, and that is indicating we have that La Nina weather pattern. Now, here's where we currently are with the latest value. We have negative 0.635 as of 06Z on November 10th. So we do certainly show that that La Nina pattern is growing in strength, and we expect La Nina to continue through much of the winter months, and that'll impact our weather in interesting ways. Uh, Wanted to kind of put this there as well. Tropical storm Rafael, not gonna not gonna hit the United States, thankfully. It's pretty much going out to the rest of the Gulf and going to become a depression. It's currently a tropical storm as of 3 a.m. Central Standard Time, but then it'll continue to die out. Not too much time on that. We're done with that. Done with that graphic. And let's go ahead and take a look at these temperature anomalies with the GFS as we go through the course of the month. You can certainly see that warmer air that's with the reds and the yellows. And then if we get further into the month, we certainly see a cold batch coming through from the Pacific once we get into the 18th, 19th. There's that cold air for my birthday going crazy there. And even areas into the southeast. So there's that weather pattern that we were talking about. This is when it really starts ramping up. Areas right here, temperatures certainly like 35 degrees. Are you kidding me? That would be crazy for areas of Texas, eastern Texas. Let's take a look over in Florida. 44 degrees. Certainly ends up having some issues with the vegetation there. So certainly a blast of cold air once we get into next week. Certainly this is only one probability, one weather model, but you can certainly see the weather pattern is changing and we start to see Old Man Winter showing up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the dew points as far as moisture goes. Dew points, don't expect those to be too high. You do see that the moisture shows up here. If I can show you a little bit closer, you can see the Gulf is still pushing some of that moisture up, and that's what's going to assist Colorado with getting all that crazy snow, and then it'll get closed off there as another front comes through on the 19th. And then the cold air dominates. Cold, dry air. So by the third week of this month, you better have your parkas and everything else ready because we're going to see some crazy cool temperatures coming through for sure. This is showing possibility of 27 degrees, not extreme by any means, but certainly cooler than the 50s and 60s that we're expecting. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our crazy weather patterns that we've had. But before I do, I want to mention This is some of the graphic information that we have from the latest storm that hit Colorado, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. Isn't that nuts? 53 inches of snow. Trinidad got 44. I know there was some great chasers out there like Brandon Kopic and Vince Walt. They all were assisting a number of motorists through their assistance. They were able to get some people back on the road. But even areas like Santa Fe got 16 inches of snow. That's crazy. All right, so I want to mention a few things. Let's take a look at some weather trivia. What do you guys think? Well, the correct answer on that is B, medicinal syrup and ointment originally. So let's go back to that quick before I go too far. Whoops, I got that shut off. I thought. I don't want to loop it. All right, let's go back to let's go back to that graphic here. All right, so it's going to have a hard time going through there. I didn't set this up the greatest. Sorry, folks. All right, so what was the original purpose of the marshmallows before they became a popular candy? It was B. This concoction served as a medicinal syrup and ointment known for its soothing properties to treat ailments. Gosh, how do snowflakes form? It's got to be C. Is it C? Around dust at temperatures above -40. It's C. I got it right. I got it right. Snowflakes form from ice crystals that generally have hexagonal patterns. And the three major cities with populations greater than 100,000. D, Japan. I would not have guessed that. That is crazy, folks. So there's lots of weather trivia going on. So with all this snow talk, we definitely want to talk about a few things. Okay. First thing that we want to talk about is remember, a lot of people don't remember to take time to remove the snow from the roof of your car. But I will tell you, one example that I ended up having is I was coming up to a stoplight. I wasn't going super fast or anything, slowing down. But as that warm air in your car keeps you nice and cozy, you got the roof full of snow, and that just comes sliding on down to your wipers, windshield, and then you're blocked. You can't get your view very well, and you can't see a whole lot. So make sure that you're removing the snow from the roof of your car as well, um, because that also um, has to take care of things. And there's a big impact here. We do have um, the first snow. Stay off the road during uh, snow. We've got Shovel Smart. You definitely want to make sure these are great reminders to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks. Um, if you must drive, slow down, don't use cruise control, increase distance between vehicles. All the things that I've been talking to my son. He's 14. One of my sons is 14, and he just got his permit, so he's super stoked to be able to drive. Um, but also needs to have a little bit more experience with that inclement weather. Don't let a bad decision be your last. Have an emergency kit in your car for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some things that have changed. So what's a blizzard? That's not changed. So anything that's 30 greater than 35-mile-an-hour winds, less than a quarter mile visibility for 3+ hours. That's typically when the National Weather Service ends up issuing a blizzard. Okay. The other thing that we do want you to be aware of, let's see if I can get that pulling up here, is some things that have changed with regards to notification. Extreme cold watch. Go back there. Extreme cold watch. An extreme cold watch is issued when dangerously cold air with or without wind is possible. Check the forecast and be prepared in case a warning is issued. They changed it instead of it being like um, uh, wind chill watch or wind chill warning. It's going to be called an extreme cold watch, extreme cold warning. Extreme cold warning is issued when dangerously cold air with or without wind is expected. Conditions could lead to frostbite or hypothermia. Limit your outdoor activities, dress in layers, and take uh, and cover up exposed skin. Next, we have snow squalls. Those are, kind of fairly new in my opinion. Not extremely new, but um, what are they exactly? Well, quick, intense bursts of snow accompanied by strong, gusty winds, short-lived, typically less than 3 hours, normally occur during the day. Okay, which is a good thing that it occurs, not at night. Rapidly reduced visibility, treacherous travel conditions. What's a snow squall warning? Is usually issued 30 to 60 minutes in length, issued for small areas where snow squalls are expected. Um, Similar to a tornado or a severe thunderstorm. Hockey stays safe, have a way to get forecasts. All right, so we're not going to spend too much time on that at this point. The other thing, let's see what we got going on this one. So we got so many different things going on here. We've got wintry fury, the traditional Alberta Clippers um, that we get. So I'm sure we're going to end up having those. Winter's fury, we've already noticed that. A Colorado low, there's nothing more wintry than a Colorado low, which spins up on the east side of Rockies from Denver to Chicago or Cleveland to Pittsburgh. If forecasters are calling for a foot of snow, there's a decent chance a Colorado low is the culprit, and that's what we just ended up having over in Colorado. And winter's fury, Gulf of Alaska, you know, that is crazy to think that there's all this different terminology. And then we've got winter's fury of a typical nor'easters. Not many winter storms have the potential to bury 100 million people in 1 to 2 feet of snow in a single day. Nor'easters are notorious for packing big wind and copious, I can't even talk, copious amounts of moisture they get from the Atlantic, the heavily populated region between Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. I-95 corridor is especially impacted by nor'easters. So all those different terminologies and crazy stuff want you to be remembering this one. Who can forget Christmas of 2016? We could talk about all these warmer than normal temperatures and then snow and all this crazy stuff. Well, that's indicating to me that we could end up seeing a repeat of possibly 2016, 2017. You know, hopefully not, because that ice was pretty intense. As you can see with the text on there, there was a lot of people without power for a long period of time. Thousands of people that did not have power for a number of days. So that leads me to what you've all been waiting for. That's our predictions for our areas. Let me shut this off. I'm not trying to lead it up too much. Let's go ahead and put those official snowfall forecasts predictions right up here. All right, we've got 39 inches. 45, roughly 42, 45 is the normal or average. for the snowfall season. So we do have 39 inches is my official prediction for Sioux Falls to get for this season. Aberdeen, we got 38 inches. Normal is about 42. Pure, 32 inches. So roughly staying a little bit less than your average. And that's because of the fact that we have that La Nina. Now, I'll be tracking all this as I always do for the last 3 years or so. I've been putting these out. Some years I'm right on, and other years I'm way off. So we'll have to see. Lead. Now, I took a 2005 2006 scenario for Lead, South Dakota, um, because I do believe that the western half of the unit of South Dakota is going to end up seeing a little bit closer to the average snowfall. And the reason for that is partially because of those Colorado lows. Sioux City expecting about 29 inches of snow. Those are my official predictions. I want you to certainly stick around because I got lots more to go through. And let's go ahead and show you Radar Omega here so that we can get all of that put up here. I'm going to go ahead and show you where this is diving deep into. Let me shut the predictions off here. Let's go ahead and show the precipitation chances here. This is based off of the GFS. I do want to put in a winter precip type. Let's go ahead and put that on there. Now this is looking at 06Z update, so that'd be 1 a.m. I apologize. There we go. All right, so as you can see, once we get into um, middle part of the month, the GFS starts showing the snow chances. Not a whole lot there, not nearly as bad, at least based on this weather model. Zoom in there a little bit. 18th, 19th, I think it's having a little bit of a struggle showing that snow. It all depends on timing of those temperatures. So all this green, which is rain, and the blue, which is the snow, of course, it could possibly be that those if those temperatures dip down sooner rather than later, we could end up having a lot more snow than what this is showing. But look at that, folks. Let me go ahead and move this on over. Do have chances of some snow over into Minnesota, Wisconsin, Madison area. Might be a little bit of a, there's that low pressure right there over Detroit. Then we do have some additional snow for areas of Texas. We're going way farther into November. This is highly controversial. Just want to let you know, highly controversial with these models going that far out because GFS, you start getting out any farther than 5 to 7 days, it's a little tricky. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NAM 12K. That went through an update at 8 a.m. here. And we want to see how that compares once we get into, of course, it's going to say image not ready. But we definitely can see some more snow coming over into um, next week. Let me show zero. That's only 98% done, so we'll have to go to this one here, which is good because it's basing it off of what the GFS is showing as well. So there's that snow coming on in. rain, more rain for Tuesday chances for Sioux Falls area. Thankfully, no snow yet. When do I think we're going to get our first snowfall? I originally was expecting to have sometime Thanksgiving week. Um, I still believe that we're going to end up having the week of Thanksgiving a little bit of snow for Sioux Falls area. But honestly, it's not going to really amount to much, maybe an inch, 2 inches at most for that whole entire week. And it'd probably primarily be in the overnight hours. So I've got a lot of questions to get to. So let me go ahead and see if I can answer these questions on our YouTube channel. Goodness gracious. Okay. I've got to put them into a converter because I've got someone that is speaking Spanish in there. So bear with me one moment while I translate this. All right, so person that goes by the name of Jay Zanito, uh, pay attention to the area of heavy rain in the north of Puerto Rico. It has a height of 40,000 feet. The storm clouds have a height of strong storm intensity. Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and from here in Puerto Rico, the same thing is happening. Look what is happening. Thunderstorms, strong winds, electrical discharges from fountain. A lot of thunder electrical discharges in the area. Well, let's take a look at Puerto Rico. Hmm. There's Cuba. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the outages. That's a nice thing is I'm able to see the outages. I don't know if it's going to show that. Does not show any outages, so I'm not sure where this person is exactly in Puerto Rico, but doesn't show that there's any outages. As you can see, definitely is working because New Mexico is showing customers without power is 284. California, I don't see where that in Puerto Rico is. I don't believe that's a valid statement. Let's go ahead and take a look at the current radar over there. I mean, I certainly do see some moisture going through there. But as far as outages go, I can't support that with this particular app. So let's go ahead and take a look at the, whoops, excessive rainfall outlook. Let's see if there's any of those chances here. I gotta shut this outages off real quick. All right, so we do show that there's definitely going to be some uh, slight risk of excessive rainfall, so probably significant to mention. Areas of Louisiana, 1.5 precipitable water values of 1.5 to 2 inches Sunday morning across southeast. So we do see those areas getting the moisture and expecting to continue. Let's go ahead and take a look at the HRRR to see a more live look, if you will. Get back to the 7 a.m. update. Oops, I got to bring this composite reflective. That's why it wasn't showing very well. Certainly some moisture, but not a whole lot, really. Quite surprised that it's showing that excessive. Let's go ahead and take a look at the NAM 12K. I don't see why they ended up saying excessive rain, but we'll have to see. Interesting. All right, I don't want to spend too much time on that. Let's go ahead and take a look overall where we are at in Sioux Falls as far as temperatures go. 47 degrees. Beautiful. Rapid City, we're looking at 30s. Aberdeen area, we're looking at 40s already there. So we continue to warm up. I do want to show you our risks. Just general thunderstorms down in this area. Let me show the excessive rainfall. So general thunderstorms in this area, not anything huge from the Storm Prediction Center. And then really not seeing much of anything as far as severe weather goes. Let's go ahead and take a look at satellite loop. I'm going to show you what we have here for the satellite loop on main area of development. So that way you can kind of see what's going on over there. Pretty darn quiet. Cooler temperatures are showing up in these areas. So 84 air temperature, dew point 77. Certainly we had dew points in the upper 80s previously, so we can certainly see La Nina is taking effect because La Nina we typically end up seeing I apologize. One moment here. There we go. Sea surface 83. Not too bad. Let's go over to our other area of development that we need to be aware of. If it can go, there we go. Not too far over there. Gulf of Mexico, there we go. So this area, as far as tropical development chances, 10%, extremely low. And we can see why. I mean, there's some areas of showers over in Puerto Rico, definitely, because you can see that high cloud base. Let's take a look at the upper level water vapor. Definitely some moisture here, but really dry. The yellow in here is showing, you know, the yellow and the blue. That's indicating the drier air. It's growing there. Not much going on there. And then, of course, we do have tropical depression Raphael expected on the 12th in the next couple of days to really be not really any impact at all. It really isn't right now an impact either because of the fact that even though it's a tropical storm, it's out in the middle of the Gulf. And thankfully, hurricane season is looking to die out. Hey, John. Yeah, it probably is a bot. And thanks so much, John. I appreciate it. Okay, well, I'll definitely try and stop into Mission on Monday with you. That'd be great. I'd love to see your kiddos. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a quick peek here at the current weather down in Colorado and how that's impacting. We got upper 30s. All right, let me reset and see where I'm at as far as all the topics that I wanted to go over. Shut this one off and oh, there we go. All right, make sure that I got everything covered here. Let me go to this one. This is a snowband probability tracker. Not really seeing much of anything. Oh, that's because it's only goes 48 hours. I have not used this yet. I just happened to see it earlier today, and so it's an interesting prototype for sure. All right, everybody. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser. Again, make sure that you, if you're in the area of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, check out Mission Nutrition, Fit Revolution, and Refuel Nutrition for all your healthy eating habits. They've got the shakes, protein shakes. They've got energy bombs. There's a shark bite that definitely has the healthy energy to help give you focus. Um, and I appreciate y'all joining every year for these wonderful, uh, fun activities, in my opinion. I take a lot of time to try to get this the right way. But bottom line, we're going to have some snow, but I don't believe it's going to be significant. Let's go ahead and remind everybody that has just come through um, what we're going to have potentially for this year, this season. 39 inches is my official prediction for snowfall. I do expect much of that to be in December, as it follows a pattern um, of 2016, 2017. Not every single La Nina is exactly the same, but still. But I appreciate y'all joining. You guys have a great day. God bless you all, and stay safe, everybody. I'm going to try and do regular updates as much as possible. Kiddos are now in show choir, so it's getting a little hectic again. It's like one thing ends and the next thing comes up. But I appreciate y'all joining, and rest assured, as soon as we have our first